including Blake, who's one of Jordan's students that I got this fall, would get that singing assignment. I can imagine if I went back to campus on Monday and they were like, you were at one of those smart music things, weren't you? Because I often tell them I'm going to go to these things and they say, don't send us one of those stupid assignments again. Okay? So I won't click done. But if I would, all of them would get an email from Make Music, not from me. Say, Make Music, do not reply. Dr. Pohland has posted an assignment. Log into your account and do that. So what I'm going to do, so that you see this loop, is I'm going to clear everybody and just send it to one student. So if you want to be as great educators, one of the things we are called to do in 2013 is individualized instruction. All 60 of your kids aren't going to be at the same level. They might, as 5th graders, all be in book 1. That doesn't mean that Sarah's on page 5 and that Laura's on page 18. Well, then I need to send Laura page 18. So I can highly individualize my instruction. So that we get away from this great norming effect that so often the public, well, and private schools have. We try to make everyone go along at the same pace. It's impossible. If you'd have heard me play trombone when I was a sophomore in high school, you would have never thought I'd end up being band director. I was terrible. Oh, I was worse than terrible. Okay? And it took until about halfway through my junior year that I thought, you know, I think I could be a band director. I told my band director that, and he just laughed. He said, you are a terrible trombone player. I don't think he said terrible. He said, you're just not very good. I said, yeah, but I think I could be. He said, well, then you better practice. And I finally started to think that I could do this. Okay, so I can individualize that. So now I click done, and it actually takes a couple seconds, literally a couple seconds, and then it comes back here. Okay, do I want to send another assignment, or am I done making assignments? I'm going to say that I'm done right now. Okay? So what do the students see? Okay, I have to go back home right now, and I have to log out. Okay, I'm logging out of my educator account, and what I'm doing then is I'm going to log in to my own student account. And I get my own home page. Now I do insist, even at the college level, all of my methods classes, they have to have a subscription to this if they're going to want to become teachers. You've all been through brass, percussion, string, woodwind, tech, and those things. We don't have time to listen to each one of you play hot cross buns on every instrument. So I actually make these as assignments to my college students as well. Okay? So I get to my home page and I click on my classes, and there's that assignment that I just sent to myself. So when I open it up, I don't have to go searching for anything that my teacher sent. It's just in my assignment box. And lots of schools with Power School are able to post assignments. So it's much like what you might have to use anyway. So then I click my bass voice. Okay. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to do a mic check for me, which is really a great thing so that students don't send you recordings that are all distorted and out of balance. So we click the mic check, and it'll talk to us.
Smart Music will help you set your microphone level. Attach your microphone as shown. Sing any note on La.
La. All that did was it balanced out the accompaniment with my input. So that no matter how loud I sing, the recording that my teacher gets is going to have pretty good balance. Okay, then I continue. There's the one I just sent. So now I'm ready to perform it. But I don't like going as fast as we had to go in choir. So I decide, okay, I'm just going to slow it way down for myself. Anyone see what happened? Look at that middle. Alert! The settings have been changed. I can practice it, but I can't submit it. So if you want the students to go the tempo that you assign, they can't send you something slow. I always love the kid. And you're all going to have them. They come in to their lesson or to band and they say, I can do it perfectly at home. Yeah. Well, of course you could, because you took it at 60 instead of 120. Any of us can play John Philip Sousa at 60. I sent it to you at 120. So they can't really mess with the settings I send. So then I'd have to hit reset, and it'll go ahead and reset it for me. Now I can actually go through it. And you know what? Let's just all sing it. I don't want to send my own voice. Who washed Washington's white woolen underwear when Washington's washerwoman went west? Who washed Washington's white woolen underwear when Washington's washerwoman went west? Who washed Washington's white woolen underwear when Washington's washerwoman went west? Who washed Washington's white woolen underwear when Washington's washerwoman went west? Who washed Washington's white woolen underwear when Washington's washerwoman went west? Who washed Washington's white woolen underwear when Washington's washerwoman went west? Who washed Washington's white woolen underwear when Washington's washerwoman went west? Get all done. It'll give you a score, and that's great score. I'm going to take that one. If I wanted to do it again, I could just keep doing as many takes as I wanted to. Up at the top where it says take 1, it'll list how many. So if I do 9 takes, I can then use the arrow, find the highest score, open that one, and then all I do is click submit. It's now sending that screenshot with all the green and red notes, the recording and the assessment to the teacher's gradebook. The other thing it'll do is it will now, on that assignment box, that assignment will be gone. So if I make a mistake and click submit, and I didn't mean to, I have to go tell my teacher, and maybe he'll reassign it to me. Maybe they'll say, hey, you get the 52% you sent me. Okay? What I got in the habit of doing was always setting a minimum. Do not send me a recording and assessment until you get 72%, 84%, whatever it might be. Okay? If you want to accept 13%, accept 13%. Now, do you know that that kid actually sent that recording? Not always. And I learned that the hard way. Because Joe was a good percussionist, but not great. And I sent him Scale of the Week, and he sent it back to me, and it was flawless. I mean, it was stunningly good. Like, oh man, I don't think that's Joe. But you know what? I'm going to tell Joe, in the middle of ensemble, I said, Joe, you sent me that scale last night. Would you play it for everybody so that everyone can hear what it should sound like? And Joe's like, no, I only can do that good at home. Joe, you did so well. I'm sure that you can demonstrate for everybody. Now I kind of notice the tears welling up, and I'm like, okay, something's fishy here. Joe will see me after class. His brother had been an all-state percussionist about 6 years sooner. He just had his brother do all of his assignments for him. I gave him an A for creativity and an F for the assignment. And he's like, oh, you mean I really have to do them? Yes, Joe, that was the whole purpose of that. All right, so now I'm going to log out of my student account and go back in to my educator account. That is my real email, by the way. And some of those students that were on my gradebook are real students. Okay. Oh, I did. Can't even spell my own college. Okay, so then I would go up to my grade book. It'll open my grade book, and here are my classes. So I would go down and get wind ensemble. And then I have to go find myself. Okay, these ones that are green are waiting for me. Okay, I have not assessed those yet. If they have a number, okay, they've been assessed, and I'll kind of talk to you about that. But there's that vocalese. Okay, so up pops my assessment. Okay, got the red and green notes. Gave me a 10 out of 10. We got 97, so it's going to round it up if I only use 10 points. I haven't put in the recording score because that's for me. So, smart music. What does it assess? Pitch accuracy and rhythmic accuracy. What do we assess? Always tone quality. If you take the T off the word tone, I think that's our number one thing in teaching. So we have to teach great tone quality. I could have a kid play 1,000 notes in a minute, do the Flight of the Bumblebee in 30 seconds. And if it's poor tone, it'll never sell. So I always have to assess that. So I really do have to then listen to what we submitted.
I'm going to send my own voice.
I'm going to give you a 3 for the recording. I wanted this as a solo. When that student opens up their homepage again, that comment will be attached to their grade. So if they want to know, why did I only get 13? I got a 10 out of 10 on the performance. How come I only got 3 out of the recording? They read the comment I posted. I wanted that as a solo, and you sent me the whole choir singing it. Okay? Now, I could reassign from that screen too. Okay? But just imagine you are using a program that whatever you want to change, you can change. Okay? So, you'll see what that's the rest of my grade book there. I'm not so sure they'd want me to show you all of that.
Yeah,
Okay? Although some of them are doing quite well. Some of my students like me, others really don't. Because I keep them accountable. And yeah, I'm doing this at the college level. See? You're all in major ensembles here or at Mankato. How are you held accountable for your assignments? You don't have to answer that one. Just think about it yourself. What I decided, a very conscious decision, is that if you're in chemistry, college chemistry, you have homework, what, every night? Hundreds of pages to read, labs to do. You have regular assignments that take you hours and hours. As music people, what is our homework? You can answer that one. What is our homework? Practice. Does Dr. Albuquerque know when you band students practice? How does she keep track of whether or not you practice for concert band? Yeah, it should sound like it. But if you have 90 people in your concert band, are there 1 or 2 that don't practice? Yeah, of course there are. Of course there are. Okay? So for me, it's an accountability thing. Some of the assignments I send to my wind ensemble are 30 seconds long. And I figure if they can't go in a practice room and do one of these that only takes them 30 seconds, they're spending 3 hours a night on chemistry, they can give me 30 seconds a week. Okay? Some of them don't like that. Okay? I think at the junior high and high school level, middle school level, elementary school level, if they're not practicing, it's so easy for you to tell already, but maybe not for mom and dad. How many of you got less than an A in high school band, orchestra, choir? None of you. You all got A's. Now tell me how. How did you get those A's? Showing up. Showing up, exactly. And did you have to show up every time?
Most of the time.
Most of the time. What are we doing with a program like this? We're saying to students, this is important, and you're accountable. And your principal is going to thank you a bunch. Because the buzzword in administrative circles is authenticated assessment. Not just the math teacher that has all your homework assignments and your tests, but come on, band, choir, orchestra people. How can every kid in your ensemble get an A? And yet traditionally, I loved when Sarah talked about tradition this morning. I still am a traditionalist. I rehearse in the traditional way. Very much so. Okay? It's all about the ensemble. Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, if you would come and play in my ensemble, I would think that you'd find it very similar to any ensemble you've ever been at. But there's this non-traditional part of me that says, but how do I keep them accountable? How do I make sure my third clarinet players are working as hard as my lead clarinet? That third trombone player understands how important their part is in what we're doing, if I have no way to keep them individually accountable. And so I use this as that kind of tool. Do I use it all the time? No. I think this semester I sent 4 assignments to my wind ensemble. We have a major concert with Andy Boyson's coming to our campus on Tuesday. We're doing one of his works that's just ridiculously exciting. It's so challenging.